Tonight, as you prepare for rest, I urge you to remember a sacred truth. Your imagination is not idle fancy, but the creative power of God within you. It is the very substance from which reality takes shape. That quiet, drifting moment before sleep is holy ground, for in it you stand at the threshold of your conscious and subconscious mind. What you impress upon yourself in that sacred stillness, if felt with conviction, must manifest in your waking world. This is the eternal law, as within, so without. There is no need to plead with the universe. You are not a beggar before an indifferent power. You are the operant power. You do not ask as one uncertain. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You surrender, not in weakness, but in certainty. You relinquish effort and take up knowing. You rest in the end. That is the secret. In imagination, you live the scene that would naturally follow the fulfillment of your desire. You see what you would see, hear what you would hear, and most of all, you feel what you would feel if your desire were already realized. It is the feeling that is the key. You must move beyond words. You must dwell in the state, not merely visit it. Let that scene unfold before you, not as a hope, but as a memory remembered from the deeper self that already knows its truth. You become the person who has already received. You do not wonder if it will come. You do not wait. You declare in the silence of your soul, it is done. The outer world is but a mirror, a faithful reflection of your inner assumptions. It is not your master, but your servant. It cannot reflect what you have not accepted within. Turn away from appearances. Appearances are shadows, echoes of past beliefs. They carry no weight unless you renew them with your attention. Let them pass. Return always to the inner world where true power lies. The secret is to assume the end and persist in the assumption. When you lie down to sleep, you are entering the most receptive state of consciousness. The veil between the conscious and subconscious is thin. Now is the time to impress upon your deeper self the truth you choose to live by. Do not concern yourself with how it will come to pass. That is not your domain. Your work is to feel it real. That is enough. The how is God's business. You plant the seed by imagining the end. You fertilize it with feeling, and then you rest, not in uncertainty, but in peace, knowing the work is done. As you fall asleep, revise the day. Rewrite it as it ought to have been. Let go of the facts, for facts change. Do not take the failures of the day into your sleep. Instead, create new memories. Imagine them. Feel now what it is to already have it, not to long for it, not to strive toward it, but to rest in the assumption that it is already yours. Let the weight of possession settle into your body. Breathe as one who no longer seeks, but simply is. This is not a matter of effort, but of alignment. You are shifting into the version of yourself that no longer wishes. He or she knows. And in that knowing, a silent and perfect bridge of incidents is set in motion. You are not meant to see the entire path. That is not your role. Your only task is to dwell in the state, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to return to it again and again regardless of appearances. For appearances are nothing more than the shadow cast by a former assumption. The world, your world, must reflect your inner state. You are not a servant to fate. You are governed by faith, and faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. All that you accept as true inwardly becomes the law of your external world. So tonight, rest in the deep acceptance that what you have desired is already accomplished in spirit. The very moment the desire was birthed in you, so too was the way made clear. Not by force, but by assumption. Not through struggle, but through identity. You are not becoming. You are revealing what has always been within. Feel it. Let the feeling become your atmosphere. Let it seep into your skin, your breath, your heartbeat. Imagine a single, simple scene, one that could only exist if your desire were already fulfilled. It must be a scene of completion, not hoping or waiting. Let it play gently in the theater of your mind. Let it lull you into sleep. The subconscious, in its infinite receptivity, will accept it as fact if impressed with conviction and feeling. And what it accepts, it must express. It may not arrive in the way your mind expects. It may come through delays, detours, disguises, but it will come. The language of the subconscious is feeling. The language of creation is assumption. The world is not moved by your words. It is moved by your inner certainty. So tonight, do not seek signs, be the sign. Rest not in questioning, but in knowing. The now is the womb of all things. The future is but the reflection of the state you occupy now. Change the state, and the reflection must change. This is law, unwavering, impartial, eternal. If you would have something different tomorrow, you must feel different tonight. You must occupy the mind, the emotions, the energy of one for whom it is already done. You do not create this version of yourself. You awaken to it. It is already present, already alive within you. You make contact with it through inner movement, not outer action. And when you assume that identity, fully, faithfully, the outer must conform. The people, the events, the opportunities, they are drawn to you not by effort, but by resonance. The outer bends to the inner, always. Your world is not happening to you. It is coming from you. And when you return again and again to the inner state, regardless of the noise outside, you anchor the truth in your being. That is where all your power lies. So tonight, this is your sacred act. Not to beg or plead, but to declare, silently, inwardly, with calm assurance, that it is done, that you are already the person you desire to be, that the thing you seek is already yours. And as you lie in stillness, let that feeling rise in you like a quiet tide. Let it be your final thought before sleep. For what you fall asleep in is what you impress upon the depths of consciousness, and what is impressed there will emerge, clothed in reality. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are becoming the miracle. You are not appealing to a power outside of you. You are awakening the power within you. Your imagination is not idle. It is divine. It is the very creative spirit that shapes the universe, operating as you. And when you imagine with belief, when you feel with conviction, mountains move, doors open, the unseen begins to take form. And if the world tomorrow looks the same, do not be deceived. The seed is planted. The roots are forming in the silence beneath the soil. Hold to your inner vision. Let the outer world catch up. And should fear or doubt arise, do not fight them. Simply return. Return to the state. Return to the scene. Return to the self that knows. There is no greater work than this. You are no longer a seeker. You are a selector. Creation is finished. All possibilities already exist. You are choosing, by your assumption, which version of life you wish to occupy. Once selected, it must come forth. It may come by mystery or delay, but it must come if you do not waver. That is the promise. That is the law. So let the old self rest. Let the new self rise. Let sleep carry you into the fulfilled reality. And as you rest, know that your assumption is not mere fantasy. It is a creative decree. The subconscious accepts, the world responds, and life takes shape around your inner convictions. Let this truth settle over you like a warm blanket. You are not hoping. You are remembering. You are not asking. You are claiming. And so tonight, lie still, breathe deeply, and let the state of the wish fulfilled be your dwelling place. What you embody tonight will echo through the corridors of time. So choose wisely, choose lovingly, choose with power, because the world you desire is already yours. And now, by your assumption, it begins to find you. True belief does not pause for proof. It is blind to delay and unmoved by appearances. It walks in the assumption that the thing hoped for is already real, already present. It speaks not of hope, but of fulfillment. It acts as one who already possesses, already knows, already is. When you dwell in the end, you abandon concern for the means. The how is not yours. It belongs to the unseen intelligence that weaves the tapestry of your world. You are not asked to orchestrate, only to assume. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and let that feeling guide your steps. The steps will appear, often subtly, shaped by your new state of consciousness. You may find yourself drawn to do what once felt foreign, to speak with new confidence, to move differently. These are not coincidences. They are the outpicturing of your new inner state. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the world must respond. The outer is compelled to conform to the inner. You are not separate from your desire. The only gap is that which your mind imagines. Dissolve that distance in imagination, and you collapse time. The moment you become one with your desire in feeling, you summon the bridge of incidents that must carry you there. Look not to the outer for confirmation. The outer will always reflect the inner, but with a delay. You do not plant a seed and dig it up the next day to check if it has sprouted. You trust the seed because you know the law. So it is with your desire. The moment it is assumed in feeling, it is planted. You may not see the bloom immediately, but it must grow. Creation is finished. You are not creating the desire. You are selecting from what already is. Your task is to assume the end and live from that place. Feel now what it means to have it. Let the scene unfold in your imagination, not a scene of longing, but a scene that implies the desire is already realized. Hear the voice that congratulates you. See the look of fulfillment in your own eyes. Smell the air, feel the atmosphere. Let the tones, textures, and impressions become vivid. The more real it feels within, the more real it becomes without. Your imagination is not idle. It is the divine creative power expressing through you. You are not asking for something beyond you. You are recognizing what is already yours in consciousness. And as you do, your vibration shifts. You begin to think, speak, and act as one who is fulfilled. This is not pretense. It is remembrance. You are not becoming. You are awakening. The universe does not ignore you. It mirrors you. Once you change your inner acceptance of self, the world cannot help but reflect that change. So accept it now. Accept your new identity. Let it seep into your breath, your bones, your being. Do not peer into the future with anxiety. Greet it with familiarity. The future is born of your present assumption. Love it now, and it shall grow. Tend to it now, and it shall flourish. But if you entertain fear and doubt, they too shall bear fruit. Be watchful, then, of what you accept as true. Guard the doorway of your mind. What you allow to dwell there becomes law, and when the morning comes, carry this feeling with you. Walk as one who has. Speak as one who knows. Move as one who lives in the end, not to perform for others, but because it is now who you are. You have become it in imagination, and the world must conform. Every night offers you this sacred doorway, this blessed opportunity to die to the old and rise in the new. You are not bound to what was. You are ever free to choose again, and the moment you do, the whole universe shifts to reflect your new choice. So now lie in stillness. Feel it again. Let the feeling wrap around you like warm cloth. Nothing to prove, nothing to strive for. You have entered the state where all is done. You are speaking the only language the universe hears, the language of feeling, of knowing, of assumption. And in that sacred whisper, all things begin to rearrange. Sink into it deeper now, into that place where nothing is missing, nothing is lacking. In this place, you are complete. There is no gap between what you seek and who you are. You and your desire are one. This is not striving, this is surrender, not of power but of resistance. You are no longer seeking from lack. You are being from fullness, and that is the most powerful act you can perform. You may not see the change immediately. That matters not. The inner shift is the true evidence. The world will follow. It always does. The rhythm of manifestation cannot falter. It is law. It is unfailing. It responds to what is impressed upon it by your inner conviction. And tonight, you impress upon it the feeling of the fulfilled desire. Do not ask from lack. Do not speak from longing. Assume from fullness. Breathe as if it were already so. Let each breath affirm your faith. There is no force outside of you greater than the force within. That force is the imagination, your first and truest sense. What you consistently feel and believe in imagination must take form. That is the law. So lie here not merely in rest, but in creation. Let your imagination be more real than the senses. Let the scene be so vivid that when you wake, your first instinct is gratitude, not longing. And if the old world still appears before your eyes, smile. For you know it is only the echo of past belief. The new has already been planted, and it will rise. Remind your mind gently of the new state. Return to it often, not with effort, but with ease. Let the feeling become familiar. The more natural it feels, the faster it flows. You are not forcing it into existence. You are remembering that it has always been yours. Every desire comes with the power to fulfill itself. It is not born of lack. It is born of potential, already waiting for your alignment. Let that alignment be your practice, not through repetition of words, but through dwelling in the feeling. Replace every doubt with the inner knowing. The world is not your master. It is your mirror. Let it reflect what you now choose to believe. Delay is not denial. It is arrangement. It is orchestration. So wait not with worry, but with peace. Trust not in time, but in law. Let this assumption be your dwelling place, and from it all things must come. Tonight you do not ask again. You declare, you feel, you become, and in doing so you set in motion the unseen. You ignite the law. You impress the subconscious, and in time all things will unfold according to your inner command. You are not hoping, you are remembering, not begging, but claiming, not becoming, but revealing. You have assumed the end, and the end shall now assume you. Every great transformation in your life begins not with effort, but with assumption. You assume a new state of being, and the world, like a mirror, reflects it faithfully. This is not superstition, nor idle fancy. It is law. The law of consciousness decrees that what you accept as true within yourself must manifest without. You are not the victim of circumstance, but the creator of it. Your world is yourself pushed out. Do not wait for signs in the outer world to validate your desires. You must live as though they are already true, feel it real, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and let that feeling saturate your being. Walk in it, breathe in it, think from it, not of it, but from it. There is a vast difference. To think of what you desire keeps it at a distance, but to think from it places you within the state, and what you are within must externalize. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot affirm abundance and carry within you the fear of lack. You cannot desire love and secretly believe you are unworthy of it. What you entertain within, that you become. So take your attention away from appearances, away from delay and doubt. Turn entirely inward. All things are created first in imagination. There is no other foundation. The outer world is but the shadow of what you first conceive in the silence of your mind. Persist in the assumption. No matter what the world shows you, remain faithful to the end. Do not dig up the seed in doubt. Leave it planted, tended with belief, watered with inner conviction. Even when there are no signs, even when nothing seems to change, do not waver. It is working. It must, for that which you feel as real must take form. You need not concern yourself with how. The how is not your responsibility. That belongs to the law, to the divine wisdom that orchestrates all things. Your part is to imagine and believe, to dwell in the end, to sleep in the assumption that it is already so, and from that state, action will be inspired. You will move, speak, decide from that place of knowing, not through effort, but through inspiration. When you rise in the morning, Do so with gratitude, as if your desire has already come to pass. When you lie down at night, feel the sweetness of its fulfillment. Let it be as real to you as your breath, as your heartbeat. Do not let appearances disturb you, for they are old reflections of your past beliefs. Look only within. That is where the truth resides. Whatever you now accept as real in imagination, you will soon experience in the flesh. This is not make-believe. It is the secret that governs all creation. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You possess the power to bring forth that which has no physical evidence, yet, except the knowing within your heart. When the mind seeks to argue, when fear rises to question, remind yourself that you are not waiting. You are remembering. You are returning to the truth that has always been yours. The promise is kept the moment you claim it in imagination, not a second later, and so you do not plead, you do not beg, you do not wish, you assume, and that assumption, when persisted in, becomes fact. If you could but hold the feeling long enough, if you could but remain in that inner knowing, the world would reshape itself accordingly. Let your feelings be your prayer. Let your inner speech be filled with the voice of completion. For you speak not to the world, but to your own subconscious. And it is listening always. And what it hears in feeling, it expresses in form. So rest now. Let your last thought before sleep be the vision fulfilled. Feel the warmth, the joy, the peace of your desire realized. Let sleep carry you into that state, for what you impress upon the subconscious in that quiet hour is potent. It is creation itself. You are not falling asleep. You are assuming a new life, and that assumption, made in feeling, shall be born into the light of day. Remember always, you are not hoping, you are knowing. Not seeking, but embodying, not asking, but receiving. You are that which you seek, and the world, in all its vastness, must conform, for creation is finished. You are only selecting which part of the eternal is to be made visible now. So choose wisely, choose boldly, choose with love, and it shall be done unto you as you have believed. When you feel unwell, do not dwell in the state of illness. Instead, assume the state of perfect health. Feel yourself to be whole, strong, vibrant. Let that feeling rise within you and saturate your entire being. Your body is not the master, it is the servant. It is obedient to the assumptions of your mind. What you believe yourself to be, so shall your body express. There is nothing outside of you that holds any true power. No condition, no diagnosis, no opinion has authority unless you give it. You are the operant power. All things are as you accept them to be. You may look to the world and say, "But I do not see the evidence of my healing." And I say to you, the moment you see it, it is no longer creation. It is merely the result. Creation always begins in the unseen, in the silence, in the invisible knowing of the heart. That which is seen is the shadow cast by your inner assumption. The world is the delayed reflection of your state of consciousness, so do not be swayed by appearances. Appearances are echoes of past belief. They have no power to dictate your future unless you allow them to. Persist in the assumption that you are already what you desire to be. Do not wait to be well to feel whole. Feel whole now. Do not wait to be free to feel free. Feel free now. Whatever you feel yourself to be now, that you shall become. You are not here to react to life, but to create it. Let go of the illusion of struggle. Let go of doubt. Let go of the need to see results before you believe. That is the way of the world, not the way of the creative spirit. The world bows to inner conviction, not outer effort. Live now as though your prayer has already been answered. Move through life in the consciousness of the wish fulfilled. You do not need to beg, nor plead, nor prove yourself worthy. You need only assume. Assume it boldly, quietly, completely, and in that assumption, the world will shape itself around you, for what you accept as true in imagination will harden into fact. The outer world cannot resist the inner state. It is drawn to it, compelled by it, fashioned by it. There never was any separation between you and your desire. The only distance was created by your belief in time and delay. But time is only a measure of the interval between the acceptance of the wish and its embodiment. The moment you believe fully and without question, the law begins its perfect and precise unfolding. You were never waiting for the world to deliver anything to you. You were only ever waiting to assume. There is no force outside of you that decides what you may or may not have. No fate, no destiny, no external God handing out fortunes and denying others. The only God you will ever need to concern yourself with is your own wonderful human imagination. That is the source of all creation. That is the power which creates the world. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and refuse to be moved. Hold it within, quietly and faithfully. You need not tell others of your assumption. You need not convince a single soul, for the secret place is within you, and there, in stillness, the seed of your desire takes root. You are the sower. Your assumption is the seed. Your feeling is the water. And the harvest is certain if you do not uproot it with doubt. Guard your assumption as you would a sacred flame. Let no appearance, no condition, no circumstance cause you to forget what you have already claimed. Begin now. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for proof. Act as though it is already so. Rest in the knowing that it is done, and soon you will see that the world is not something happening to you, but something issuing from you. You are not the victim of life. You are the creator of it. You are not bound by appearances. You are their cause. And once you realize this fully and finally, you will cease to ask, "Will it come?" and instead say, "I am." Reality shifts the very moment you decide it must. Most live under the illusion that life happens to them, that they are mere recipients of circumstance. They believe they must react to whatever is placed before them. But this belief is the very chain that binds them to a world they do not wish to experience. The truth is far more profound. Life does not happen to you. It happens through you. You are not here to observe, but to create. You are not the effect, but the cause. You are not subject to the world. The world is subject to you. You must decide what you will accept as real. If you continue to see yourself as separate from your desires, you will remain so. If you behave as one who is waiting, you will continue to wait. If you seek validation from the outer world before you believe, you have placed your power where it does not belong. There is no need to chase, to strive, to plead. Instead, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must live from the end, not toward it, not in hope of it, but from it, as though it were already accomplished. When you close your eyes, do you feel the joy of already having your desire? Do you sense the relief, the calm assurance that it is done? Or do you feel the longing, the separation, the ache of what is still missing? If you feel lack, then you are dwelling in the state of not having, and that state will perpetuate itself. You must shift. The inner world is the only world. What you feel to be real within must become real without. This is not a matter of effort in the physical sense. The only effort required is the effort to remain loyal to your assumption. The moment you accept something as true, the world moves to match that truth. But you must not contradict your assumption with fear, with doubt, with mental wandering. You must hold fast, unmoved by appearances. Think of the seed cast into the soil. The gardener does not unearth it each morning to check its progress. He trusts in the invisible process, knowing the harvest is assured. So too must you trust in the unseen laws of consciousness. Your assumption is the seed. The feeling is the water. Your faith is the sunlight. The result is inevitable. Time is an illusion that tempts you to believe in delay. The mind, attached to sequence and clocks, will try to measure and predict. But the law of assumption does not operate in time. It operates in conviction. If you say, "One day I will have it," then it will always remain in the distance. But if you say, "It is mine now," you pull it into the present, and the present must reflect it. The external world cannot help but conform to the inner reality that is persistently held. Your emotions reveal your state. If you feel anxious, uncertain, doubtful, you are in the state of not having. If you feel serene, fulfilled, grateful, you are in the state of possession, and it is your state, not your words, that creates. This is why mere affirmation, without the corresponding feeling, is hollow. The universe does not respond to phrases. It responds to frequency, to the tone of your inner being. You must feel it real. You must walk, breathe, and act as one who already has all they desire. If you desire wealth, do not think from lack. Do not speak of scarcity. Do not count your money with fear. Feel the richness now. Move through the world with the assurance that all your needs are met. In this state, wealth must come. If you desire love, do not pine for it. Do not ask when it will appear, for to do so is to affirm its absence. Instead, dwell in the state of already being loved. Walk as one cherished, adored, complete, and love will reveal itself naturally. If you desire health, you must not identify with illness. Do not rehearse your symptoms or speak of struggle. That only perpetuates the state you wish to leave. Feel the vitality now. See yourself strong, full of life. Let that feeling be more real than what your senses suggest, and the body will be compelled to match the new assumption. The body is an instrument of the mind. It cannot but obey the conviction you impress upon it. There is no outer force deciding what you can have, no higher tribunal weighing your worth, no test to pass. You are not being judged. The only condition is belief, and belief is not something to be waited for. It is a choice, a commitment to inner knowing. When you claim your desire in consciousness, reality has no choice but to catch up. Persist, assume, walk as though it is already done, and the world will bow to that assumption. Many will tell you that change requires effort, that success is a battle, that struggle is noble. But these are the words of those who do not know the law. The truth is, creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in a higher reality, a dimension of imagination. Your task is not to make it happen, but to occupy the version of yourself where it already is. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and remain there. You must not wait for a sign. You must not postpone your belief until the world gives you permission. The sign comes after the assumption, never before. Evidence is the shadow, not the substance. Speak now as though your dream has arrived. Think now as though you are already living the reality you once only imagined. Walk in the confidence of one who knows, not one who hopes. If you say, if only, or I hope someday, the world will reflect that hesitation. But if you stand in certainty, if you declare within, it is done, then life must mirror that decree. Do not concern yourself with the means. The how is not yours to orchestrate. It is the work of the unseen. Your work is to remain faithful, to hold the inner image without compromise, even when appearances suggest otherwise. There will be moments when your senses tempt you to doubt, when the world appears unchanged. But remember, the outer world lags behind. What you see is old news. Do not let your senses lead you. Let your imagination lead your senses. Hold your assumption through the silence, through the waiting, through the stillness. For in that faith lies the power of creation. If you wish to be free, think only from freedom. If you wish to be loved, feel already loved. If you desire abundance, live in abundance now. You cannot wait for proof to believe. You must believe, and the proof will come. All things are possible to him who believes, not he who waits, not he who doubts, but he who assumes. When you assume the state and refuse to move from it, the world must conform. There will come a moment, quiet, effortless, inevitable, when the world bends, when what you once held only in imagination becomes fact. And in that moment, you will understand what has always been true, that you were never separate from your desire, that what you sought was already yours, that the only distance between you and your dream was the decision to believe. And the moment you did, reality had no choice but to obey. Do not allow the mind to wander into questions of when or how. These are snares, diversions sent by the old man, the former way of thinking that is bound to appearances and conditioned by doubt. Your task is singular, to remain faithful to the assumption. Anchor yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live in that feeling so thoroughly that it becomes your natural dwelling place, the atmosphere of your being. Let it greet you in the morning and accompany you into sleep. Let it so permeate your consciousness that the outer world must reflect it, for it cannot do otherwise. Most fail to manifest not because they do not desire rightly, but because they attempt to live in two opposing states. They affirm what they want while continuing to identify with its absence. They speak of wealth, yet feel poor. They visualize success, yet carry the vibration of fear, and so they remain suspended, neither advancing nor retreating, but caught in the paralysis of divided attention. You must not make this error. Choose your state and dwell in it. Refuse to waver. Abide in it with loyalty, as if there were no other choice. You are not bound by the past. Whatever you have experienced up until now is the outpicturing of former assumptions, not prophecy. The past has no power save that which you give it by remembering it as real. You are free this very moment to assume a new state, to cast aside every unworthy idea, every limitation, every memory that contradicts your desire. It matters not what has happened. What matters is what you now accept as true. You are the operant power, and you always have been. Creation does not require effort. It is not about strain or striving or forcing results. It is the quiet acceptance of a spiritual fact. When you imagine and feel that your imagining is real, creation is complete. All that remains is for the world, bound by law, to conform to your inner reality. You do not need to convince anyone. You do not need to plead or prove. You only need to be. You embody the state of the one who already has. The moment you do this, the world reshapes itself around your conviction. If you desire joy, become joy. If you desire love, become the embodiment of love. If you desire success, assume the identity of one who is already successful. All things must begin in consciousness. The outer world is not the cause, but the effect. It is a mirror, and it reflects not what you say, but what you feel to be true. The world will never grant you what you are unwilling to claim. You must not hesitate. You must not wait for others to confirm what you know within. If you look to the world for validation, you will wait in vain. But if you believe without seeing, the world will be compelled to show you the evidence. There is no difference between the great and the ordinary, save in what they accept as true. The great do not hope for success. They assume it. They do not ask if they are worthy. They know they are. They do not wonder whether opportunity will come. They expect it, and so it does. You must do likewise. Rise each day with the conviction that your dream is real. Do not act from wanting. Act from having. Speak not as one who wishes, but as one who knows. Carry yourself as one who has already received. And when the world begins to shift, when people, events, and opportunities appear with seeming spontaneity, you will not be surprised. You will not marvel at the change, for you will understand that it could not have been otherwise. You planted the seed in consciousness. You remained faithful. The harvest is merely the echo of your inner state. Life has never happened to you. It has always responded to you, and now you know the secret. You are the operant power. You command reality through assumption. There is no fate, no outer force shaping your destiny. There is only consciousness and the law by which it operates. What you assume to be true must become true. This is the law of assumption, and it is final. It has no exceptions, no loopholes, no partial application. It governs your world whether you know it or not. Look around you. Your current life is a perfect mirror of your former thoughts and beliefs. Every event, every relationship, every condition is the harvest of what you have sown in consciousness. If there has been struggle, lack, or limitation, it is not punishment. It is simply the outworking of what you once accepted as real. But this can change in an instant. The moment you assume a new truth and persist in that assumption, the world must bend. The law is impersonal and sure. Your only work is to dare to believe, to assume boldly, and to feel that your assumption is already fact. When you do this and refuse to be moved by appearances, the world cannot help but conform. If you have struggled, it is only because you unknowingly assumed struggle to be part of your story. If you have faced rejection, it is because you identified, even if unconsciously, with the idea of being rejectable. If you have experienced lack, it is because you believed in lack, not as a condition of the world, but as a truth about yourself. Yet just as easily as you once accepted these limiting assumptions, you can now assume ease, love, and abundance. The pen has always been in your hand. Creation does not demand time or labor. It requires only the movement of awareness, the willingness to dwell in a new state. Most live by reacting to appearances, letting the external dictate their inner state. They wait for signs of change before allowing themselves to feel joy, worth, or fulfillment. But this is not the way. The world is not the cause. It is the reflection. You must change first. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled so deeply, so completely, that it becomes your identity. Think from your desire, not of it. To think of it is to see it as something separate, as something you do not yet possess. But to think from it is to place yourself at the center of its reality, to live and breathe and move as one who already has. Close your eyes and dwell in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. What would it feel like if everything you ever desired were already yours? Let that feeling saturate your being. Let it quiet every doubt, dissolve every fear, erase every thought of separation. As long as you remain faithful to this state, it must objectify itself in your world. Do not look to appearances for confirmation. If you planted a seed, would you dig it up each day to check for growth? No, you would trust that beneath the surface, the unseen processes are already at work. So it is with assumption. The moment you claim something as yours, it is yours in truth. This is not pretending. This is not delusion. This is creation. Every experience in your life arises from the state you occupy. Change the state, and the outer world must rearrange itself. The masses react. They see lack and believe in its permanence. They see obstacles and believe they must overcome them by force. But the awakened one does not react. They create. They assume the end, and the means are drawn by the law. They walk in the knowing that what is felt within must appear without. If you desire wealth, stop hoping for it to come. Assume it is already present. Move as one who is financially secure. Speak, act, think from that state. If you seek love, stop looking for it out there. Embody it. Let your every thought be steeped in the truth that you are already loved, already chosen. If you seek healing, stop identifying with sickness. Dwell instead in the conviction of perfect health. And when the changes come, when the world transforms to reflect your new state, you will not be astonished. You will not doubt. You will simply recognize the law in action. Live now as though your desire were already yours. Not someday, not soon. Now, there is nothing to wait for. There is only assumption. Be the one who already is, not the one who waits to become. Let the feeling of your fulfilled desire be your home. Let it be your default, your natural posture. The world has no power to deny you what you accept inwardly as true. It must mirror what you believe about yourself. The only question is, what will you now believe? You have never been separate from your desire. The feeling you seek has always lived within you, waiting for your permission to become flesh. And the moment you say yes, the moment you step fully into that feeling, it begins to take shape. You are the cause. You are the author. The world merely follows the script you provide. There will be moments in life when the familiar falls away, when you find yourself walking alone. Do not resist this solitude. Do not fear it. It is not punishment. It is preparation. Just as the seed is buried before it can bloom, just as the caterpillar must surrender to stillness before it transforms, so must you be set apart before you are revealed. When people leave, when opportunities fade, when silence surrounds you, understand, this is the sacred pause before emergence. God calls you into isolation to reveal what the noise would hide. He strips away the outer layers, the distractions, the attachments, not to leave you barren, but to make room for your becoming. In the stillness, you hear the voice of truth. In the quiet, you discover that your strength never came from the crowd, that your worth was never rooted in validation. What felt like rejection was divine alignment. To be set apart is to be prepared. You were never meant to conform to the world. You were made to reshape it. You cannot carry the weight of destiny while holding onto the past. So the old must fall away. The people who left, the paths that closed, were never meant to go where you are going. Their absence is not a loss. It is a clearing for the new. You must now trust, not in what is seen, but in what is unfolding beneath the surface. Trust in the invisible hand that molds your path. The silence is not a void. It is the womb of creation. You were never meant to fit in because you were created to lead. You were never abandoned. You were elevated. When God isolates, it is to refine. When he removes, it is to reveal. You are not who you once were. And when the time comes, you will not return as the same. You will rise as the one you were always meant to be. The world may not understand this path. It may mislabel your stillness, but you will know. You will see clearly, because the veil has been lifted. The truth of who you are has been made known. So go forth, not in hope, but in certainty. Not as a seeker, but as one who has found. Speak not as one who awaits the blessing, but as one who walks in it. For your prayers have already been answered. The assumption has already been made, and now the world, by law, must conform. The right opportunities come not because you chase after them, but because you have assumed the state of one who is ready to receive. They are drawn to you by the law of consciousness, not by effort or striving. But before you can welcome these manifestations into your world, you must first embrace this present moment, not as a hindrance, but as the fertile ground of transformation. The silence, the stillness, the solitude, all are part of the divine arrangement. They are not signs of delay, but signs that the structure of your reality is being rebuilt from within. You must trust that what appears to be taken from you is only being removed to make space for what is truly yours. Every seeming challenge is a necessary condition that pushes you inward. Every delay is not delay at all, but perfect unfolding. Every lonely hour is calling you back to yourself, back to the center of your creative power. For it is in this stillness that you become acquainted with the only reality that matters, the one you create within. And when this season ends, and it will end, you shall emerge not as you once were, but renewed. You will rise with a strength that is born not of resistance, but of recognition, a wisdom that has come not from books, but from the depths of your own awareness, a peace that cannot be disturbed, because it was not placed there by the world, a faith that cannot be broken, because it rests on the certainty of being. So hold firm in your assumption. Know that nothing is happening to you. All is happening for you, and more truly through you. God does not strip away without reason. He removes only to replace, and what is given is always greater than what was lost. When the time comes, you will look upon this season not with sorrow, but with reverence. For it was here, in this silent place, that you found the only thing you ever truly needed, yourself. This is not a season of emptiness, but of great fulfillment. What the world labels as loneliness, the heavens call preparation. What feels like loss is the invisible hand of elevation. You are not being abandoned. You are being drawn into the highest expression of yourself. You are not being pushed away from what matters. You are being pulled into what has always been waiting for you. The familiar must fall away, for the familiar belongs to the former state, and the former state cannot accompany you where you are going. You must rise in consciousness, and to rise is to separate, not as punishment, but as necessity. For only when the outer noise is silenced can you hear the voice within that says, I am. There is nothing accidental in this journey. Every shift, every loss, every quiet hour has been orchestrated by the deeper self that knows your purpose, even when your surface self forgets. You may not understand why certain faces have disappeared, why doors have shut, why the things you once held dear no longer satisfy, but you will come to know that nothing was ever lost. You were not deprived, you were redirected. And though the world may not yet recognize what is unfolding within you, that is of no consequence. They may not understand why you no longer participate in what once amused you, why your words have changed, why your desires have deepened. But the truth is simple. You are being made new. You are assuming a higher state of consciousness, and what the world cannot see yet, it will soon behold, for all things must eventually take form. You are being prepared to express something sacred, something rare. Not through effort, but through assumption. Not through striving, but through surrender to the truth that your inner world is the only cause. All else is effect. So lave now from that higher state. Let go of what was. Do not mourn what has passed. Stand firm in what is, the unseen, the felt, the assumed, and let the world catch up, for it must. It always does. So now stand tall, not in waiting, but in knowing. Move not as one who hopes, but as one who is. Let every breath affirm, it is done. You are no longer reaching, you are receiving, no longer seeking, you are seeing. The world bends to meet the power that you have dared to embody. Walk in this newness with calm authority, with quiet confidence, with the unshakable peace of one who knows the truth. Life is not happening to you. It is responding to you. And now that you remember who you are, nothing can stand in your way. The path is open. The time is now. Assume the feeling, live the state, and watch the world transform before your very eyes.